All right, well, until now, most of us knew my next guest as Justin Bieber's mom. But Patty Millett has recently opened up about some deep secrets in her past. She's written a book called Nowhere But Up. Patty, I've read the book. I found it deeply moving in a lot of ways. I think some people might find it actually troubling. And the sort of headline that struck me was, you've been through some really intense trauma, and I want to talk about that. And I think you were incredibly honest, and it will help other people who have been through similar things. And you know these are common things these days.
Right.
But how did you go from there to where you are now?
A lot of hard work.
Is it professional help? Did somebody?
I did. I had a lot of counseling and therapy, and for me, my faith was a big part of me getting better. So a lot of prayer and just a lot of I'm pretty tenacious.
Well, let's take people back to what happened. The first episode was with little kids playing doctor, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, even writing it was furthering my healing process. It was really tough to write, and even talking about it, it's still.
Do you feel okay talking about it?
You know, I was playing doctor with a bunch of kids, and thermometers ended up in places they shouldn't.
Was it if I remember, it was crayons they were using or something goofy like that? They were actual thermometers.
Yeah.
Now, you know, a lot of people call and they go, "Oh, I've never been sexually abused, but I played doctor like everybody did." There's playing doctor, and then there's playing doctor.
Yeah, and I mean that's where it started. After that, you know, when I was 5 years old, it started. 2 ongoing abusers for five years regularly.
As a babysitter?
I specifically don't reveal
don't want to talk about it. That's fine.
In the book.
That's fine.
Who, yeah.
But there was 5 years of overt sexual abuse, then from 5 to 10. And then there was the usual, what ensues, drug use and chaotic relationships and being in situations you shouldn't be in.
Yeah, you know, because of, at 2 years old, my parents split. My dad abandoned us, moved really far away. I didn't meet him again until I was 9, sorry. And then all the sexual abuse that happened when I was younger sort of spiraled everything out of control until, you know, as a teenager, I was doing a lot of drugs and alcohol. And
now we're looking at a picture of a smiling little girl. You see that picture down there? Can you maybe see it over here?
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of people can't imagine that's a girl that was being sexually abused.
Yeah. It's,
what do you think when you see that picture?
it makes me really sad. You know, I don't think any child should have to go through that.
And yet at that moment with the picture we're looking at, were you suffering deeply? I mean, although we look at the smiling exterior, inside things were shattered?
Things were shattered, yeah. There was a lot of confusion and a lot of, my purity had been taken at a really young age.
How bad did it get?
You know, through the therapy, I learned that it was severe sexual abuse. And
can you take us to your darkest moments in that? Because again, what I want to do is help people understand. A lot of people go through stuff like this.
Yeah.
How you then survive and thrive. But let's go to the moments that were intense. Did you have darkest moments?
I think that for me, when the sexual abuse was happening, I would almost escape my body. And everybody has their own coping mechanisms, and we're built to survive just ridiculous things that happen to us in our life. And so while I coped and I survived through such horrendous acts, you know, in my childhood, it was years later that I started feeling even more of the effects.
So, well, let me help the viewers understand what you just described. You were calling what she's describing, Pat is describing something called dissociation, where you really disconnect, you're out of body, you may imagine yourself hovering over yourself when these things are happening. And that then becomes a freeze response whenever you're threatened in the future, and victimizers seem to see that and know that, and then many more victimizations, I'm sure, happened. Yeah. Were there rapes later?
When I lost my virginity, it was actually a date rape. And, but during the years of sexual abuse, there was, you know, there was no penetration.
Right, but when it did finally happen, it was under forced circumstances. You didn't want it. It's awful. I mean, people forget this is Justin Bieber's mom.
Yeah.
How is it for him to hear all this? Did he know it already, or?
it's difficult for him to hear this stuff about his mom, you know, but I'm not stuck in that place, and that's the point of, you know, why I wanted to write this book. It's just to say, you know, if I can overcome it, you can too.
Well, that's the theme I want to really paint here for you, is for viewers, is that you really, I mean, I recommend the book if anyone wants to read a really, really good, detailed conversation about what it feels like to be in that situation. And I know millions of women have been through what you've been through, and yet many continue to use drugs, many continue to stay in horrible relationships. Many, you know, we may find out that woman I just reported, who's a prostitute in Kennebunk, had been an abuse survivor, and that was her way of dealing with it. How can we urge people to start moving in the right direction?
I say reach out for help. You know, for me, I couldn't afford proper counseling, but there was so many churches that even offered help.
So reach for others. Trust others. In your book, you said specifically you have trouble trusting still, but you had enough trust just to be able to reach out?
I had no other options. I wasn't going to stay stuck. I was in such deep depression and darkness that I didn't want to stay stuck there.